it just strikes me that I think we see what Laban is like, that his sons are mad because Jacob's taking all of their wealth, which they could technically blame their father for. He made the deal, like you said. His daughters are now even like, what has he done for us?
Yeah.
What does he have for us?
Yeah.
So who does Laban really have in his camp?
His sons. Because they can't go. They can't go with. They
You
can't
said
go with
stop.
Jacob. Like Jacob isn't taking them.
Jacob, take me with you.
Literally, like adopt us.
Oh
But yeah, I
man.
think the daughters feeling like foreigners. I think when we were talking about um Leah being given, did she have any choice in the matter, or was it just her daddy being like, "You have to do this"?
Right.
And what is going on, XYZers, XYZ Nation? I don't know what the other part is. Welcome back to another episode of Generational Scriptures.
Yes, indeed.
I am Maya, the resident millennial, and next to me is
See now, I'm all backwards. I don't know where the button is.
yeah, and next to me is
I am the latchkey one himself, the former X-Man representing Gen X all up in the area, Chris. And together we are
Generational Scriptures.
Have we done that in a while?
No, we haven't because we've been having guests.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't know how to fit in.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. And the reason I started off today is because I got to do the run sheet.
Yes.
And so this is the first run sheet by me. And I titled this episode, Let's Get Out of Here.
Sweet.
If you know, you know.
If IFYKYK, you know, you know.
Yes.
Row.
Yeah. So this is we're gonna be talking about Genesis 31 in the episode. But first we're gonna go to the All Right So Boom segment.
Jeez. You got a lot of stuff. Don't want you to go anywhere, but what I do want.
All Right So Boom segment, which is Genesis chapter 30. Fill up my notes. We start off with Rachel, who sees that she cannot bear any children. At this point, her sister has, I believe, four kids.
Yes.
And that was listed out in Genesis chapter 29. But Rachel has none. She is upset. She asks Jacob, like, give me children or I will die. And Jacob is angry because he's not God. And he's like, I cannot give you children. Like, only God can do that. And then she's like, well, here, take Bilhah, my servant, and I'll have children through her. So Bilhah ends up having Dan and Naphtali. And Dan means God has vindicated me. Naphtali means I've struggled with my sister and I've won. Leah sees this and Leah's like, take my servant. And so her servant has two children, Gad and Asher. Gad is good fortune has come. Asher is happy am I. People will see that I'm happy. And then we get to this situation, the Mandrake situation, where Reuben, one of Leah's children, finds mandrakes, and they believe mandrakes have fertility powers and all these other things. And Rachel is like, hey, can I have some of your son's mandrakes? And Leah is upset about this because she's like, you already took my man. Now you want my son's mandrakes. Like, you're doing a lot. You're asking for a lot.
Right.
And Rachel says, you know what? Give me the mandrakes, some mandrakes, and you can have our husband for tonight.
That's crazy.
And Leah agrees. So in this exchange, Leah ends up with two more children, two more kids, Issachar and Zebulun.
Yes.
And we are also told that she has a daughter, Dinah.
Yes.
And if you go back to the episode, we have the discussions on the names, the meanings, all of that. So yeah, definitely go back. And then God finally remembers Rachel,
Mm.
and Rachel gives birth to Joseph.
Yay. Yes.
Yes. And Joseph, we talked about in our very first season. So go back to season 1. We should have playlists. So there should be a playlist called, I think it's called The Joseph Story, but it goes through all of Joseph's story.
Yeah.
So after Joseph is born, uh, Jacob asked Laban, hey, give me my kids, give me my wives, and let me go. And Laban is like, wait, go. Like, I want you to stay. Like, I've seen in a vision, I've seen through divination that it's because of you that I'm prospering so much. So
Right.
stay. And Jacob is like, I've been faithful to you. I've helped your family prosper. I haven't taken anything from you guys. I want to now build for my family. This man has mad kids. He has 11 sons right now. So
Right.
he needs to start taking care of his family. And so Laban is like, well, let's negotiate. What do you want your wages to be? And they decide that the speckled, the striped, the dark colored flock will belong to Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob is like, let me walk through, let me pick those out. And then that'll be like a sign that I haven't taken anything from you. And these things will be mine. Like the fact that I'm only taking the bad ones, quote unquote,
Right.
will show that, I'm loyal to you.
Yep.
Laban is like, all right, cool. But before Jacob is able to do this, he goes and he takes all of them and he gives them to his sons, and his sons go 3 days journey away. And so now now Jacob is out of luck because the animals are gone. So then Jacob continues to be faithful. He flocks, what's the word? He takes care of the flock.
Shepherds.
Shepherds the flock, yes. And then he starts doing some, tricks and things to make the animals breed a certain way so that if his wages were this, though, that's what would be bred from the flock.
Right.
And the weak animals would end up being the ones that were Laban's, and the stronger animals ended up being the ones that were Jacob's.
Right.
And Jacob's wealth grew significantly during this time. So now he has a large flock.
Yep.
He has servants. He has donkeys. He has camels. So he's set up good by the end of chapter 30.
Yep.
And that brings us into chapter 31.
He definitely is. He definitely is. All right. So I get to read first today.
Yes.
That's 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it should be. Because I just spoke for like 3 whole minutes straight.
Okay. I will remember that. All right. So, Genesis chapter 31, verses 1 through 3. Now Jacob heard that the sons of Laban were saying, Jacob has taken all that was our father's, and from what was our father's, he has gained all this wealth. And Jacob saw that Laban did not regard him with favor as before. Then the Lord said to Jacob, return to the land of your fathers and to your kindred, and I will be with you. Do you get shades of his mother, Rebecca and Sarah, when it's like Jacob heard?
Oh, I didn't, but I do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That struck me. So he's got his proverbial air quotes, for all of you listening, um, ear to the ground, knows what's happening in that area.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's interesting because that's like the second time we've compared Jacob to his mother versus like his father.
yeah.
I mean, we don't know much about his father, so maybe.
Well, yeah, we don't. We only get like one real chapter of Isaac. But
Yeah.
what I'm starting to see is even when you start to think of some of the things that Joseph does, like you mentioned earlier, our first season was Joseph's life, and some of the things that even Judah does. I can sort of see those things happening here,
Mm,
right? And so it's like this is just how this family is. I think
Yeah.
you mentioned it last time. It's just how they are. So yeah, it's going to go through the generations. It's going to be like stuff happening.
Yeah.
As
It's hard
as
to
with
get
any
away
family.
from those
Yep.
family traits sometimes.
Yeah. Oh man. And then what else? What did you take? What was one of your takeaways from this?
Well, in my run sheet, I just put why. Like, why did Laban start treating Jacob differently? And initially, I'm thinking because of the whole flock situation. But Again, this is your deal. You decided this. And you also tried to play him multiple times. Right. So I don't know what else you want. Like you already said through divination you find out that you're prospering because of this person, and then you're trying to trick them or like
And I think it is the flock. I think it is the fact that he's losing because he's always trying to get the upper hand through fast double talk, whatever you want. Being slick with his words, saying things certain ways, getting people to stay when they don't want to, having people do extra work for air quotes free. And I think what he's seeing is that that's not happening.
yeah.
And I think that the brothers, his sons, um, Jacob's brother-in-laws, are seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
Our flock is feeble. This guy over here is just getting bigger and bigger. He's gone from probably not much of anything to having camels and donkeys and servants and flocks.
Yeah.
And then if I'm a son, I'm looking around like, well, where's my inheritance?
Yeah.
And it's almost like this transfer of wealth has happened.
Yeah. And the crazy part to me is that you have sons. Why are y'all not taking care of the stuff?
I don't know. I've never understood that.
I still don't understand that because you're saying he's taking your wealth, but why aren't y'all doing the work
Right.
if
Right.
it's yours?
The only thing that I can think of when it comes to that is if we go back to when we met some people at the well in the field,
Mm-hmm.
and one of my takeaways is that they were just being lazy,
Mm.
right? Because they were like, "Oh, we got to wait for everybody to get here, then we roll away the stone, and then everybody drinks." Jacob walks up and says, "You shouldn't be doing that," and he's probably got good reason to say that. But then he goes and he removes a stone on his own. So it's, and I think we talked about it. It's either because he got some sort of special power at that time,
Mm-hmm.
or he was just willing to put the work in to move the
Yeah.
stone, and the rest of them were like, "No, I don't want to do it by myself."
Yeah. And we have to remember that in that scenario, it's Rachel that's coming with the flock, still not the brothers. So we don't
Right.
know what the brothers are doing to help in this building of their wealth.
Yeah, and you're right. It's Rachel, not any of the
Yeah.
brothers that are coming.
Yeah.
So she was the one tending to those, to
Yeah.
those, to
So
that flock.
technically, they all should be hers.
Technically,
The
but
her inheritance
it
feels
should
like it
be.
should be hers
It
because
should be.
she's the one working for. She was the one working for it. Now her husband steps in and is working for it, and they're like, "It's mine. He's taking all of our stuff." Like, is he? You
Yeah.
didn't do anything to really deserve it. Just be a son.
I mean, that's one, right. That's the thing at that time. I can just be a son. And especially if I'm the firstborn, I can really sit back and just wait, you know, and not be industrious and not work. Um, so
That's crazy.
it is. It is. What about the Lord? What the Lord says to Jacob?
Yeah, return to the land of your fathers and to your kindred, and I will be with you. Kindred, and I will be with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. It's the same. I mean, he was promised before that he would return to that land.
Right.
So it's finally now God is telling him to go. I think previously in chapter 30, he just wanted to go. He said, "Hey, give me my wives, give me my children, let us go."
Right.
And Laban is like, "Ah."
Yeah, he does ask to his credit because right. Oh yeah, Laban. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I missed that. Yeah, but you're right. And Laban's like, no.
Yeah.
But here the Lord's giving him the
Mm,
like, no, it's really time for you to go. Is the way I took it.
yeah.
Did you take it that way?
Yeah.
It's, and especially when he hears all of this stuff going on around him, and the Lord's like, it's almost like the Lord's protecting him, looking after him, saying,
Yeah.
"All right,
I'll
now's
be
the
with
time."
you. Yeah. Yeah, I think with him asking the first time and not just leaving, and now this time he knows God will be with him. Maybe there was some fear the first time. Like, I can't just take
Right.
them and go.
Right. Yeah, I can see that as well.
Genesis chapter 31, verses 4 to 9. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah into the field where his flocks was, and said to them, I see that your father does not regard me with favor as he did before, but the God of my father has been with me.
Mm.
You know that I have served your father with all my strength. Yet your father has cheated me and changed my wages 10 times, but God did not permit him to harm me. If he said, the spotted shall be your wages, then all the flock bore spotted. And if he said, the striped shall be your wages, then all the flocks bore striped. Thus God had taken away the livestock of your father and given them to me.
Mm, mm-mm. And I think verse 9 is where I got that transfer of wealth
Mm.
from.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I thought one interesting thing is that he called his wives to kind of talk to them about what he's about to do,
yeah,
or even ask them almost,
yeah,
what do you guys want to do? This is the situation.
yeah. It felt, I was, it showed me some character, some good character in Jacob that he did that,
Yeah,
right? He didn't just try and say, "Yeah, come with me," or "You don't have a choice,"
yeah.
but he did this. Um,
Dang, even though the last, remember in the last episode we were talking about how they had the mandrakes and he didn't have a choice.
I know. It's like
Where,
something what's happened.
yeah, like roles are reversed. They have a little, it seems they have a little more power in this marriage situation.
Yeah,
Or he allows them to have a little.
yeah. And I don't know. Maybe it's because the back and forth between Rachel and Leah isn't being highlighted anymore because, I guess children bearing has sort of calmed down, and we're starting to talk about Jacob leaving, but also doesn't feel like there's that much tension between them anymore. You
I can see that.
get that sense?
I can see that.
Okay. Um, um, One thing that struck me was the fact that he called them out to the fields to do this. So I
Like
think
pulling them away from
yeah,
everybody.
he wanted to get them away from the house, away from anyone's ears, to let them go know what's going on. Um, and he starts off by talking to them about his father, about their
Mm,
father,
yeah.
which is crazy. So go ahead.
And I was to say, the I think we talked about this too, about the, before we were talking about how the livestock, he put the sticks and he did this and he did that, but now he's like, no, God is the one who did all of these things.
Yeah.
So if you are a shepherd and you feel like I can put sticks in the thing, it may not work, because we were looking up, like, is that a real thing? Does that actually work?
Right.
And maybe that's what God was telling him to do, but it may not actually it may not actually be a
It
thing.
doesn't. And I think I stepped a little too far when I said it was a superstition. I think I just alluded to it being a superstition. And after reading this, I don't know if I would call it a superstition per se. Um, I think I would just say he was just trying stuff.
Mm.
He was like, "Hey, let's try something, see if it works."
And I was thinking more so that maybe he was directed to do that by God.
It could be, but the only reason I wouldn't go that far is I would think he would tell us if God directed him to do the sticks. And the fact that um, his wages had been changed, I also think that's interesting in these couple of verses as well. I don't know if his wages were changed 10 times. I wonder, I think that's probably hyperbole, but he's really just trying to say that he keeps switching things up on me, and that's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. And regardless of what those wages were, right? And say whatever my wages were is what came to be.
Yeah.
And then that's why you get verse 9 there. So all of that makes sense.
Yeah.
Next up, Genesis chapter 31, verses 10 through 13. In the breeding season of the flock, I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream that the goats that mated with the flock were striped, spotted, and mottled. Then the angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Lift up your eyes and see, all the goats that mate with the flock are striped, spotted, and mottled. For I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar and made a vow to me. Now arise, go out from this land and return to the land of your kindred.
And I think before this, before God like appearing to him, he's been addressing God as like the God of his father. Or
Mhm.
even when he made that pillar, he still didn't claim God as his own. He made the vow where he said, if God does this, I will do this. And
Yep.
now God is like, hey, remember, I'm that God who you made the pillar to. I have done this,
Yes.
which is take care of you, make sure you
Yes.
no harm came to you, make sure you were blessed, and all
Yep.
the things that I said. Well, he said he needed food and clothes too. Like you have all of the things.
You got all.
You have all the things.
Yeah. And that sort of is, I think we are seeing the change in Jacob where he moves almost like we've seen Abraham do. We didn't really get this from Isaac, but we saw Abraham who moved from this place of, okay, I'll follow you, but my faith is still growing to the point where it's the strongest. And I think we're seeing Jacob go through that same sort of change
Yeah.
because he's seen, and this dream talks about it too, like the dream of revelation that you have. The dream talks to it, the fact that, yeah, it was God that was doing this. It's God that's moving. It's God that's taking care of you. It's God that sees what Laban is trying to do.
Yeah.
And I, God, am the one who was keeping Laban from taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
So now he's starting to see his vow, right? If you take care of me, basically, then I'll believe you. And you're starting to see that here.
Yeah.
Then you'll be my God, is what he said.
Yeah.
So,
Like almost cashing God being like, all right, let me cashing in that vow, right?
right. Because God told him, I'm gonna do what I do. I
Yeah.
made the promise. I'm gonna stick to it.
Yeah.
And if Jacob is being stand up, then he sees all of this stuff. His faith is becoming his own. We hear that a lot. And I think this one thing I've noticed is you start to see it. You
Yeah.
see it as even at this point in time, right? You see people's faith becoming their own, which is awesome and gives, like, man, I'm not too far, God. I'm not too weird. Even Abraham and Jacob did this.
Yeah.
I'm on par with everyone else, which is cool to see.
Yeah.
Which is cool to see. One thing I read, I don't know if you saw this, was that this dream could have happened before he set his wages with Laban.
So then when he asked for that, it was specifically to get those.
Yeah. So that's one thing I saw. And I was like, "Ah, I can see it, but I don't know if I would foot stomp it just because it's hard to place it in time."
The only reason I may not see it is
Mhm.
because God is saying in that dream that he's seen what all that Laban is doing to him. So it feels like he was already being cheated when this dream happened. That's what it felt like to me. Like
But wasn't he already being cheated though?
he wasn't getting anything before, and there was no need to get anything because Jacob is saying, okay, I want to leave in order to build for my own family because all of this is yours. So in initially when Jacob wanted to leave, I thought he meant I'm not going to take anything and we're just going to go. Like I'm going to go back to my family and get my because he already has an inheritance coming from his father, right? We already know that his father has blessed him. He is the heir to
Right.
that.
Right.
So I don't need Laban's stuff and I'm ready to go. So once Laban is like, no, 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 stay, work for me, and I'll give you wages. Like I'll
Mhm.
give you something. Because all this time he's been working for the daughters, and
Right.
then just because I'm here.
But those daughters were his wages, remember?
Yeah.
He asked them, what shall your wages be? Right? Because we talked about you're not a servant, you're not a slave, you're not somebody I hire, you're a kinsman. How do you want to handle this? So what shall your wages be? And he says, my wages shall be your daughter and Rachel, and I'll work for her 7 years. And he did trick them.
Yeah. And then he
So
worked in
for
the
his
okay,
wages.
so you're saying the tricking
because even that, which is weird to say, but that was his wages, and I think
Yeah.
that's some part of why the daughters are going to respond the way that we do when we see their response to this,
Yeah.
right? Because it's just weird to say, but that was the deal. What am I working for? I'm working for your daughter. Oh no, I can't give you the younger before the older. So now you gotta, and I didn't tell you, so you gotta work 7 more years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay.
and what else I just thought of is why seven? Why 7 more years? That's what Jacob came up with. Laban could have made it less.
Because you already did 7 and you really love her.
Yeah, but that's my point is that he knows
He's
he can
taking
get that,
advantage. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He could, if he's setting the wages, he's doing this based on what Jacob said, and I think Jacob was trying to be fair, maybe a little over because he wanted to impress his soon-to-be father-in-law. But
Hmm.
he didn't do anything different after he knew that Jacob didn't understand that Leah had to go first in terms of being married.
Yeah.
So when I think of it being tricked and he's seen what's happened, he's seen those things if we're talking in the past tense,
Okay.
right? And
I can see
then
that.
also, just to make it even more weird, we know that God sees and knows everything completely all the time without having to learn anything. So technically, God's seen what Laban's going to try and do to him with the sheep and the trickery of the sheep and moving the variegated, spotted, striped, speckled, all that away. God knows He's going to do that.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool.
So it could be before, it could be
Could
after.
be before, could be after, right?
Either way, God is making sure that he's good at the end
and
of it.
and that's the big point of it. If Jacob knew beforehand, that gives, because I was like, why do you ask for that specifically? Of all the things to ask for, why do you ask for not a percentage? Not I take 10% of everything that I right that I'll take the striped and the spotted and the mottled. Those
I
that
was thinking because people prefer the white clean sheep.
yeah,
So I take the
okay,
ones you may not want
yeah.
or may not. But I don't know because we haven't gotten to like sacrifice. Well, we did have the one sacrifice, but I don't know. I don't know how if that's a practice right now.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but there is a practice for it, but it hasn't been codified, and I don't know. Once you start to talk about unblemished, what does all that mean? Does that mean that they are pure white, or does that mean that they don't have any type of
Deformities.
right? Right, you're giving the best of what you have, not just what you don't want.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, big picture, God did it.
Yeah.
So even with the with the sticks, like you were saying, man, he could have did nothing, and God still
Yeah.
would have
Would have still
provided
worked.
what's needed.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Oh man, that's cool.
All right. Genesis 31:14-16. Then Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, is there any portion or inheritance left to us in our father's house? Are we not rendered by him as foreigners? For he has sold us, and he has indeed devoured our money. All the wealth that God has taken away from our father belongs to us and to our children. Now then, whatever God has said to you, do.
It just strikes me that I think we see what Laban is like, that his sons are mad because Jacob's taking all of their wealth, which they could technically blame their father for. He made the
Mhm.
deal, like you said. His daughters are now even like, what has he done for us?
Yeah.
What does he have for us?
Yeah.
So who does Laban really have in his camp?
His sons. Because they can't go. They can't go with. They
You
can't
said
go with
stop.
Jacob. Like Jacob isn't taking them.
Jacob, take me with you.
Literally, like adopt us.
Oh
But yeah, I
man.
think the daughters feeling like foreigners. I think when we were talking about um Leah being given, like, did she have any choice in the matter, or was it just her daddy being like, you have to do this?
Right.
And now both of them are like, he sold us. Like, he doesn't really care about us, and he also sold us and didn't keep anything for us.
Right.
And so, great, it's yours, and we are yours. That's fine with me.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's like what did he do with? It's weird the way it was phrased, almost like whatever he gained from Jacob for from us, he's sort of squandered it. That made it seem like um any portion or inheritance left to us in our father's house are we not regarded as foreigners, for he sold us, and he has indeed devoured the money.
Mm,
So it's like, okay, yeah, Dad, you gave me away for Jacob's wages, and there's nothing that you have to show for it.
yeah.
So, what value were we really?
Mm,
That's what I get from that statement.
yeah.
Yep, like you said, they agree that God's taken all the wealth and done the transfer, and then to do what God says.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laban's in a pretty pretty bad spot. He's in a pretty bad spot. All right, Genesis chapter 31, verses 17 to 21. So Jacob arose and set his sons and his wives on camels. He drove away all his livestock, all his property that he had gained, the livestock in his possession that he had acquired in Padan Aram, to go to the land of Canaan to his father Isaac. Laban had gone to shear his sheep, and Rachel stole her father's household gods. And Jacob tricked Laban, the Aramean, by not telling him that he intended to flee. He fled with all that he had and arose and crossed the Euphrates and set his face toward the hill country of Gilead.
Yeah, I think initially when he said he drove away all his livestock, it made it feel like he sent them away.
Yeah.
But then it was like, no, no, no. He's saying he's taking, like, guiding them in the direction of where they're
Yeah.
trying to go.
Yeah, I
But
was
that wording is not.
I was
I don't
with
like
you.
that.
I was like, drove him away like he's letting him go? That don't make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think was translation. Because we use ESV, but there was another translation that says, I think he says, he took all the livestock and possessions he had acquired in Padamaram, and he drove his herd to go to the land of
Okay.
Canaan to his father Isaac.
Okay.
I like that better.
Yeah, that makes a little more sense. I've noticed that in the ESV, because they're trying to be so they want to be more aligned with the original language. That sometimes when they do it, it helps to look at other translations to
Yeah.
get it, because like he drove away. You know, that's how they would have worded it then. Like you said, driving, moving, herding in a specific location. Um, did you think of anything about when Laban had gone to shear his sheep?
I mean, they're doing for her to steal the household gods.
Yeah, but do you remember in Genesis 38 when Judah met up with Tamar?
During the
He was going to shear
shear
sheep,
sheep.
I believe.
Mm.
And that's a whole thing where they get together, they sort of have festivities and party and do all of that stuff for this sheep shearing activity. So I think it makes sense to say that Laban had gone to shear his sheep, because it's not something that you come back from in a couple of hours. You're gone for days.
Okay.
So this was like a prime opportunity for them to get out of there, for them to.
Yeah.
You're gonna get sick of my things.
I mean, it works. It makes sense. Now the title is all tying together. But yeah, I didn't actually see that, but
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah. And so with him gone for that extended period of time, Laban can start to move everything out, and Rachel has run of the house. Nobody's going to ask her much anyway, because she's Laban's daughter. She can go and take the household gods.
Yeah. And I would assume, because when it says that Jacob tricked him by not telling him, initially I'm like, is that a trick? Like, I'm just not telling you, but maybe there's more to it, because if he's going to shear sheep and that's a time for them to go and do this as a group, would we not expect Jacob to be going to shear sheep with the people?
I was wondering about that too. Why didn't he take his sheep? But maybe I don't know. Maybe there's. I'm not sure how shearing works. I wonder if every sheep is ready at the same time to go get sheared. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but I was wondering why he didn't go.
Is that part of the trick, you think?
I don't know because I'm thinking of last time, and one of my questions last time being last chapter. Excuse me. And one of the questions I had is, and I think I brought this up when Pastor Ron was on, and I was like, why does it feel like Jacob is asking for permission to leave? Can't he just get up and go if he wants to? And Ron was like, yeah, but he's just being courteous. He's just giving him the opportunity to go before him to say, I'm getting ready to head out now.
Mm,
And I wonder if this trick here just means that he didn't give Laban
Laban the
that
chance.
heads up and that chance to say, I'm getting ready to leave. And we'll see in a minute. Again, you know how I feel about Laban. Think he's fattening frogs for snakes, but he brings that up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We'll see
Yeah.
that in a minute. So that's when I wonder if that's what the trick is about.
Yeah. And why did Rachel want these household gods?
Ah,
We talked about, dang, and Pastor Ron's not here, so he can't defend himself. But he was talking about how we have to kind of just believe that God fearing people are God fearing people. But then we get here, and she's stealing household gods to do what other than worship household gods?
so we're not told exactly. Um, and I'm with you. I still struggle with the fact, and I'm not saying he's wrong. I still think I'm sort of right, if that makes sense. But I still struggle with the fact that he's like Abimelech,
Yeah.
what's a believer, and
Yeah.
I can't get there with that. I still struggle with the fact that he was like the Ninevites. They repented. They were believers. I struggle with that.
I can see the Ninevites,
I
the
can't.
generation that was spoken to that repented. I can see that group, because by the time they fail again, it's
It's
time in
centuries
between.
later.
So
I get
the initial people who repented, those cows and all them that were in ash, I think they could have truly been
it. Yeah.
repentant and turned to God.
So and that's this is why this is where I am right now is that whenever there's someone who's a believer, someone who believes God, there's no question that they do, if that makes sense. Like Melchizedek, there's no question about his belief in God, his following of the Lord. I would even go so far as the fishermen, because afterwards the fishermen did something that aligned themselves with the Lord. But I don't see that from some of the other folks that we talked about.
Yeah, I think
So
that
that's where I am with that whole thing.
I think that what the divide might be is the definition of, I don't know if it's Christian, what it is to be a Christian versus what it is to just believe in God, right? We talked about, I don't know if we talked about on the podcast, but you can believe in God and not follow God. You can believe in God and believe in a bunch of other things too, right? I don't think there's anything that's saying we can't believe in multiple things, because what is belief other than thinking that something is true? So if I believe that God is real, or that, I don't know,
Hmm.
the God that you believe in is real. The same way um Ruth said to Naomi, like, your God will be my God because I believe
Another
in
one.
that God,
Right.
right?
Right.
But Ruth also may have started off believing in other gods because of where she's from.
Agree.
Does she automatically drop that belief? Like Leah and Rachel here, obviously their family believes in something else, but they're seeing God work. They're seeing that
Right.
Jacob's God is different. Jacob's God does some stuff, and I like that, and I believe that his God, like when they say, "Do as your God is saying,"
Yeah.
it feels like they
Feels
believe
like they
in
believe it,
God.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
And then in the chapter with Pastor Ron, he was saying, they accredit things to God, but the God that we're talking about, do we know that it's the God of Abraham, Isaac,
And
Jacob?
Jacob,
We
right.
don't know that. They're just saying God. Everybody's saying God the same way.
Right.
And so it's hard to say, yes, you believe in this God, or do
Mhm.
you just believe there is a God?
Right. So real quick, because we got off on a little tangent, just to get back to what Rachel did. So I think there's a couple of reasons as to why Rachel could have went after the household gods. One is, like you said, she may have just wanted to worship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which would then let me know, if that were the case, that no, she doesn't believe in the God that Jacob is talking about. And when I say that, I look at when we say believe in the context that scripture uses it, in particular, the way that it's used about Abraham, that he believed God and it was counted to him as righteousness. I almost think of that believe as equaling salvation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no middleman at that point, right? There's no other, everyone else, every other God falls by the wayside, for lack of a better term, that you may have had leading up to that point of belief. And at that point of belief, at least the way I understand in the scripture, means that I am sold out for Yahweh, the Lord, right? The God of the universe, the creator of all things. I am sold out for him. So when I think of believe and people believing, that's the context. And that's the weight that I bring behind that word. So um when we think of Rachel potentially believing, that's what I think is she forsaking every other God. And if she is taking these household gods to worship, then I don't think that I would not couch her as believing in God totally. If she's like, oh, I like this one and I like this one. Because if you know one, then everyone else should fall.
But in their mind, that might not be how God works yet. It feels like there's more grace given to these people in terms of belief. Like, even the fact that Jacob can say, if you do this, then you will be my God, and God still takes care of him because I've made a vow to your line. They have more, is it grace or mercy? They have more of something than we are getting because now we have all of the rules. We have this is how you come to Christ, or this is how you come to God through Christ. And they don't necessarily have that. They don't have a clear this is this. And so I think that's where Pastor Ron is like, well,
Hmm.
if they reverence God in any way, whether it's by fear or by, I don't know, coercion or by whatever, he's counting that for them as faith in God, no matter what is what it seemed. He's not here to say if that's
Yeah,
true
he's
or
not
not,
right.
but
But yeah,
that's how it felt when he
when
was
he's saying it.
talking about it. Like
Yeah.
they just get a little more grace in what allows them to be brought into the fold of, you are a believer of God.
But we see people that deal with that today. I was looking at this gentleman called, his name is Abdul Murray, I believe it is. And then Qureshi, Nabil Qureshi. They were the same way. They came from a Muslim background. And so there's this, I get it. There's this time of Russell where it's like, okay, which one is true?
Mm-hmm.
Is Islam true? And all that I grew up with, and all that I was taught by my family, and all praising and worshiping and prayers that I do to the God that is defined by Islam, is that true? And then you get introduced to Jesus and you're like, or is that true? Is Jesus true? Is this salvation for my sins and forgiveness, all sins, past, present, and future, the one who created all, is it Jesus or is it Allah? And then once they say it's Jesus, Allah and Muhammad fall by the wayside.
Yeah, in today's day, because we are told that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, you cannot have any other gods before him. But before that is stated, what do I know other than I see a God that works this way? I also see my household gods. There's no, it's just not defined.
Yeah, but so and I see what you're saying. I guess my retort to that would be that I'm not I am not going to say that God has changed. If Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, if belief was and salvation was is only through him, then it's always been only through him. Whether it was somehow Abraham gets moved up in time into Jesus Christ, or Jesus Christ gets applied to Abraham in the reverse, it's always Jesus that saves. And he's God doesn't change, so I don't think he's changing the way that you get saved. I mean, this is a big discussion, big question,
Yeah.
but
And I don't think those two things are the same, but yeah, I think it's a bigger discussion. Like God changing versus God changing the way something happens are two different things.
yeah. And Ron brought it up last time, dispensations, that God deals with people in different ways in different times, right?
Yeah.
Right now we're in the dispensation of grace. Um, right.
It's a
So,
hard concept to,
but the whole time belief in God is what was needed. When we
Mhm.
believe Jesus, we're believing in God. We're believing in this God man. And it just so happens that this God, the Son of God, second person of the Trinity, took on flesh
we are
that
believing that.
he might be able to atone for the sin that we did, not him,
Mhm.
because a man had to pay, but only God can accept the payment. So it's like the God man has to basically get us out of our own problem with the wrath that the Father is willing to put out on everyone.
Yeah. You're saying things that we are believing today after post Jesus dying on the cross.
I don't know how it works any other way.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know how you believe in God, right? You believe God, and it was counted to him for righteousness. I keep going back to Genesis 15. I, it,
but
we believe in God now.
Tamar is considered righteous by Judah because of what? Like righteousness, the definitions are going to change whether we like it or not. God doesn't, it's not necessary that God is changing, but definitions are changing as things are happening, as as history is moving and things are changing, definitions of things are changing, the way things happen are changing, the things we accept or not accept are changing, is changing as time goes. Then nothing has really stayed exactly the same except for the God that we believe in
Yeah.
is not changing, but the ways seem to be changing until we get to Jesus. And then it's like, okay, now this is how you do this. But before Jesus, what was they were doing sacrifices? Well, here they aren't even doing that. But you were doing sacrifices for sins. You were doing, I don't know, they were doing the altars and things in order to speak to God. We start off having direct communication. Adam and Eve have direct communication. Then we get to Cain and Abel. Already we're having like giving to God in this way, or having to present offerings to God, or whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
Like it's constantly changing. Then we have the visions, then we have the dreams.
Yeah.
We don't. I haven't had no visions and dreams.
I
So
haven't either.
so it's been changing as history goes on, and I think that's okay. And I think that we can't be like, well, because they got to have household gods, we get to have no,
No.
we don't,
You're
because we
right.
have different rules.
Right. And I think again that's where I struggle because I don't know that the rules would have changed. And maybe that's just I gotta grow in that area. It's just hard for me to it's
I think that God is more gracious than some of us allow him to
and
be.
that's what I'm afraid that I'm doing, to be on to be straight up. I'm like, am I being like holier than thou type? Am I being too shut off where there should be grace given? And it's hard for me to say there's a scene, you don't watch movies, but in The Mummy, I don't know if you ever
Okay.
seen this, but in The Mummy, um, there's a scene where the mummy finally gets up and he's coming after this guy, and this guy has all these things around his neck. So he holds up the Star of David that says something in Hebrew. He holds up the sickle for Islam. It says something in Islam. He holds up the cross and says, in Jesus' name, starts saying things that are what we might call Christianese. He and he just continues to go through all of these things, like which one will work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of the picture I get when we start to think of I can have God and then I can have all these other household gods. It's like which one works for me on that day. And that just doesn't feel right. And
Yeah.
again, maybe it's me. I got to get out my head, but I can't. I c- what's that thing of the bumper stickers coexist? I get what it represents, but I can't imagine somebody going through each of those things and saying, "Okay, does this one work today? Oh, does this one work today?
Mm-hmm.
Does this one work today?"
Yeah.
That doesn't sit right.
Yeah. I get the struggle, but I think that for us today, there is a clear,
You're right.
I want to say clear, but clearer path
Right.
than it is for them. So when we're reading in Genesis, we need to be not necessarily thinking.
Right.
It,
And, and I agree because it gets more clear as you go through scripture.
mm-hmm.
Right? Because again, when the passage I go back to in Genesis that I've been saying for a while, Genesis 3:15, that is about as vague as you can get when talking about Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You will have the seed of the woman will crush the head of the serpent, and the serpent will bruise his heel.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can look at that and say, they're talking about Jesus.
Yeah.
But when you read just that, what you talk about, God? That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like, hmm, how do I apply this? What's the context? Where does this go? Luckily, what God is doing in the revelation of this and of Himself is He's showing us. You don't even see it full yet as we're going through Genesis,
Mm-hmm.
even though there are hints to it. And go back, check out season 1 again in that playlist when it talks about the scepter shall never leave, when he's talking about Judah, that is a sign and it points to either David or Jesus. I prefer that it would point to Jesus,
Yeah.
right? But again, that's a sign. You wonder when that's said, what is it said for? And then as revelation of who God is and what his plan is being made known more and more, like, oh, I see that. So, and again, that's where my struggle is because God didn't say something completely all the way up at the front, and his revelation being revelatory is something that happens more and more over time. Does that mean that he's changed the way that he is working with people has changed, the way that he saves has changed? what he always understood to be the salvation of man? Do we think that that has changed just because we didn't see it all at the beginning? So we've got these gray areas that we can play in, or has it not?
Yeah, but I don't think that we can hold people to a standard that they don't even know.
And that I get to. But again, I don't think that I'm, I'm back to my whole example from the movie The Mummy, where the guy's holding up all the different things. I don't think God would like that either, though.
I don't think he would.
Right.
But again, that's us.
Okay, wait. So I think that's what you're saying. So even though they may do the thing like I'm saying for the mummy, the fact what is, and let me know if I'm getting this right. What you are thinking is that the mere fact that they're like, oh, a cross is one of the things, and if I believe in all of these things equally, then the fact that I have this cross is
Potentially
what.
for before we have the yes. So I think that they're so like the guys on the boat
Right.
for
Jonah.
Jonah. Do we believe that they went home and never worshiped those gods that they had before? We don't know.
So remember, after they got off the boat, they did worship God. If I
They
remember
did.
correct. Now, whether they did it ever anytime after that,
That's
I
what I'm
don't know.
saying. We don't know. And that's the situation that we're in right now. We know that Rachel knows of and we believe she believes in God based on what Pastor Ron told us.
Right.
I don't know if she does or not. I'm just going based off of what Pastor Ron said. But if we believe that she does and that she is a believer, which is what he kept saying, like,
Right.
oh, we can't just assume that this, that. I'm like, but we aren't told either.
Right.
We know that they reference God
Yes.
in their speech, and that seems to be enough for him. But now we're here and we're like,
Why
he
did she
stole the
do this?
gods.
Right.
She stole the gods for what?
So think I said the first reason. Another reason I saw is because it was the most expensive thing in the house,
Maybe.
and
But her husband
they
is
were just,
rich.
but they were just talking about how, and I'm not foot stomping any of it. I'm just saying things that I read, and they were just talking about how there's no inheritance for them, how they the what was earned from them, right, from the wages that was squandered. So it could be like, I'm gonna take something. So there are a couple of different things that it could be.
Yeah. We could have titled this I'm leaving here with something.
We could have, but the skedaddle may not have worked as well. I guess it could have still worked.
Yeah, maybe.
It could have still worked. But yeah, so I get it. There's a lot that I am continuing to consider about this, um, and I think from Rachel's standpoint, it could be that she does not fully believe yet. It could be, or it could be that she does, and she's got some ulterior motives for taking it.
Yeah.
But I like what you said, and I think that's where my stance is going to be, unless there's something that outright tells us, and like with Melchizedek, who the king of Salem, and he's a priest of the Most High. Unless I hear language like that, I, I might just be like, could be, could not be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the stance we're supposed to take with all of this.
Yeah. I think that's true. I think that we cannot decide people's salvation
Right.
based on like the little bit we know.
Right.
We can't decide anyway. Like God is gonna decide.
Exactly. So that was good.
Yeah. It
Awesome.
only took us like,
But still, it was worth it. I thought that was a good discussion. That's why we do this.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
We're
You
on
remember where
21
we're at?
to
17 to 21, I think. So we should be doing 21 to 25 now.
yes. All right. Genesis chapter 31, verses 21 to 25. He fled with is that where we at? Yes. He fled with all that he had and arose and crossed the Euphrates to set his face towards the hill country of Gilead. When it was told Laban, on the third day that Jacob had fled, he took his kinsmen with him and pursued him for several days and followed close after him into the hill country of Gilead. But God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream by night and said to him, "Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad." And Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country, and Laban with his kinsmen pitched tents in the hill country of Gilead.
So Laban isn't told for 3 days,
Yeah.
and then it takes him 7 days to catch up.
Yeah. He caught up quick though. But I guess if you don't know you're being chased, you're not moving that quick.
And I think to your point earlier, he's driving herds.
Yeah.
That can't be fast.
Yeah. And 11 kids.
Right.
But they're on camels, so maybe they move a little quicker, but
Yeah,
they
but
need breaks.
yeah, exactly.
And I believe Joseph at this point to be really young because they said as soon as Joseph
Yep.
was born, that's when he started having or asking again to
Yeah. So we would, I don't know, I think you would probably, do you think it's about 6, maybe
Yeah, I
7?
was thinking probably school age, but not
Yeah.
like a teenager.
Yeah. Yep. Um, and what about what the Lord says to Laban? What was your take on that?
Just be careful. Like I think if God did not tell him anything, it may have been a fight. Because
Mhm.
it feels like Laban has wanted to cause some sort of harm to Jacob, but I don't know why. Like why?
I don't know.
Jacob said the same thing about like God hasn't allowed him to harm me.
Yeah.
Why is he trying to harm you?
I don't know. I think right by this point he's just mad. He just wants to strike out. If he kills, just think of it as this too. If he kills Jacob, harms Jacob, then he can take all the stuff back. So who's going to stop him?
His 11 sons when they grew up?
Well, let's see. We said that the youngest Joseph is 6. What do you think his oldest is? 17,
Maybe.
18?
So we
That'd
know
be Reuben.
the first one got immediately pregnant, or she got immediately pregnant with Phil. So
And that
14
was
years of work. By the
actually
time they're leaving, it's like 20 years later, right?
well.
Because he said, "I worked for you these 20 years."
So wait, hold on. So he would have had his first child after the 7 years, right? So he worked 7 years.
Okay.
Then after 7 years, he would have had his first child.
Okay. So
First
20
4,
minus 7
right?
or minus 8 because it takes time to actually have it.
Yeah, true. And then that's
It's
so
only 12.
that would be like 13.
Mm.
Yeah, 6 and 7, right? Because if we're saying that Joseph was born right before the deal for the wages for the stripes, mottled, speckled, and whatever clocks. Then, and this is 20 years that he's talking about. This is 6 years later. So again, Joseph is 5, 6, 7 plus 7 puts him at 12, 13, 14 for the oldest.
Mm.
If she got pregnant right away after they got married and the marriage was consummated.
Yeah.
Because then he got, and we talked about this, because he worked the 7 years and said complete the week for this one. Then he would get Rachel. Then he would work another 7 years. After that, he said, I'm ready to go. Now it's been 6 years later.
Yeah. And some of these kids are going to be overlapping, I think.
Yes, definitely.
Not necessarily you gave birth to this one, then waited.
Right.
Because this midwife or servant is having one. This servant is having one. I'm pregnant again. This one's pregnant again. Like, it's just it's going to be a lot of overlap in these ages.
Yes. And so I think the point is, I don't know that his children, his sons, are old enough to really fight back.
Yeah.
But a grown man with man strumpfuses.
Yeah. And he would probably then raise them as his own
Mm-hmm.
and maybe never tell them about their father.
Maybe not. And They still wouldn't get anything. The daughters would still be in bad shape because his older sons are still going to take everything.
Hey,
So I think that when it comes to harming him, it's simply because he thinks it may be a way to get his stuff back. He's upset and mad because he's probably the one that gets over on most people, and he got.
yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I think.
Mm.
Um, but I liked his warning because the Lord says, um, be careful. Like, watch yourself. Don't. it,
That's actually what CSB says.
yeah,
It says watch yourself.
watch yourself because because of who you dealing with. You dealing with one of mine,
Yeah.
so watch yourself. You do not want to overstep
Yeah.
in this case. And then it's interesting where he says, eh, "Don't say anything good or bad." And it's like, what does that really mean? That like you don't say anything at all, or you?
Watch your words.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what it ultimately gets down to is you don't want to provoke anything. You don't want to say anything that or do anything that moves you to act against him or provoke him to do something against you. Watch yourself. Just
Yeah.
choose your words wisely.
Yeah.
Just consequences.
Yeah, and I thinking also like we know Laban likes to make deals, so it's also like
Mm.
good or bad. Like don't promise him anything,
Yep.
don't ask him for nothing
Yep.
else. Like just leave him
Yep.
alone, let him be.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're right. Laban would have probably tried to smooth talk him right back.
Yeah,
Like, oh, come back with me. I see that you've amassed much. We can work it out.
yeah. We can share the land. We
Yeah.
can. I won't bother you
Yeah.
anymore.
So just another example of God holding to the promise that he made to Jacob of I'll be with you. And I'll make sure that you get back. Genesis 31:25 through 35. And Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country, and Laban with his kinsmen pitched tents in the hill country of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, what have you done? That you have tricked me and driven away my daughters like captives of the sword. Woo. Make sure I was still reading the
Mhm.
ESV. Why did you flee secretly and trick me and did not tell me, so that I might have sent you away with mirth and songs and tambourine and lyre?
Mm,
Why did you permit me? Why did you not permit me to kiss my sons and my daughters farewell? Now you have done foolishly. It is in my power to do you harm. But the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, be careful not to say anything to Jacob, either good or bad. And now you have gone away because you longed greatly for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods? Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I thought that you would take your daughters from me by force. Anyone with whom you find your God shall not live.
mm,
In the presence of our kinsmen, point out what I have that is yours and take it. Now Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the tent of the two female servants, but he did not find them. And he went out of Leah's tent and entered Rachel's. Now Rachel had taken the household gods and put them in the camel's saddle and sat on them. Laban felt about the tent, but did not find them. And she said to her father, let not my lord be angry that I cannot rise before you, for the way of woman is upon me. So he searched, but did not find the household gods.
yeah.
Wow.
That was a long section, and I feel
It
like I
was.
could have cut it at 30, but I was like, I don't
No,
know.
I think it's good because you see both sides
Yeah.
in this one reading. Because Laban comes in, feels like he's got the upper hand, and he's like being the elder statesman who thinks he can sort of tell the young guy what's what and what to do and
Yeah.
all the things you did wrong.
Yeah, but he's talking all this talk just to be like, but your God. Okay, you should have started with that.
Yeah.
Because you did not have the power to do anything.
No.
Is what it sounds like
No.
when you end it with but.
Right. But you got right. I could do this, but
I cannot do
I
this.
can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like so I like that he was like, you tricked me. And he's like, you took my daughters by the sword, like you held them captive. You shook them down and made them go with you.
The daughters, he asked politely,
Yeah.
like, would you like to go?
And I'm like, wrong. He doesn't understand how he's being viewed and all of these things is what that tells me.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any awareness of what's happening.
Yeah.
I feel like that's called something now. Like I can't remember.
Is it like a young people term?
Yeah, it's not it's like a term that I hear a lot of young people say. Um I can't
The
remember
only
it.
thing I can think of is self awareness, but
Yeah, can't think of it. But yeah, so it's almost like he doesn't have that. Um what did you think when he said so that I might have sent you away with mirth and songs and tambourine and lyre? I think I heard
yeah.
you laugh or
Yeah,
chuckle
I
when
put in the parentheses unlikely. Like you weren't about to do that.
no.
Like stop it.
So we even know what Laban is about.
Yeah,
I think everybody who reads that is supposed to be like, yeah, whatever. And then why did you not permit me to kiss my sons and my daughters farewell? I think when I read that, I was like, at this point, I was like, they don't even think you really care about them. So now I'm wondering, would you have even done that?
yeah.
You know?
He wouldn't have. He
So
had no intention of letting them go. Period.
true.
So why? I have no reason to let y'all go.
Oh man. Laban.
And him saying you have acted foolishly feels like you're saying something bad. God said, "Watch yourself," and you said a lot. Still,
Right.
like you did not watch anything. The only thing you didn't do was cause him harm, but you said a
You
lot.
said a
He
lot.
said, "Do not say
Yeah.
anything good or bad
Yep.
against him."
Yep. And so which makes you that saying when I was reading it, it's like nobody really quite understands what it means as an idiom or a saying, because it's only used in this chapter these two times.
Okay.
So it's like they have nothing else to sort of build on it with, and so it's like it doesn't seem like it means don't say anything at all
Yeah.
or don't point out anything that he's done wrong.
Mm.
But I like what you said. What he isn't doing here is that he is not trying to make any deals with Jacob to get him to come back.
Yeah. And I was thinking more like, you know how they talk about they're going to be bless those and bless you, curse those that curse you.
Mhm.
So if you say something like you try to curse him, God is kind of warning you that they will come, like it may come back to you. That's what I was more
Yeah.
thinking about. Like, don't make any deals. Don't think you can go curse him. Don't think you can go do anything. You don't have the power to do those. And if you try it, like he has this blessing over his life.
Right. And what's interesting when you say that, the NET version actually has here, don't bless or curse.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how they took those two words.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
There. What about the
The gods.
the searching?
I I don't know. Because I was like, I'm guessing they look at these gods regularly, and that's why it was noticed that they were gone. Because he was told 3 days later. In those 3 days, are we assuming he was still shearing sheep during that time? Like came back and now he's told, or was told while he was gone?
I I I think that he probably got back from doing the sheep shearing and then he was told. And I would want to say that those household gods are probably in a prominent place in the house, and I don't think it would have been a big deal for him to notice they were missing.
Mm.
It would be like your TV. Like there was something there. It's not there anymore. Oh wait, the TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So he notices that they're missing, and now he feels like he needs to bring it up here.
Oh.
And Jacob, I mean, he responds extra.
Yeah. You know what this reminded me of?
Something in Joseph.
Yep.
Yeah.
Remember uh when Joseph, couple things, when Joseph put the cup in
Benjamin's.
Benjamin's
Yeah. Yeah.
satchel on the way back, and that was his cup that he used for divination.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we had Laban earlier saying, "I have learned by divination that the Lord that I am blessed because your Lord is blessing you," type of thing.
Yeah.
Paraphrase.
Yeah, I think in that story, didn't they say like you can kill whoever it is that you
Yeah.
find the cup with? And they're like, wait a
Wait,
minute,
oh,
last
slow
time y'all had
down.
money in there.
Right.
Like y'all are tripping.
So it's like these people, man, they again
So
those
that's where they
things.
got it from. They got it
Right.
from him. Yeah,
Exactly.
makes
That
sense.
right? It's just like, and like we said earlier, you just see some of these things replaying. And the fact that we went backwards, yeah, good or bad, but I can sort of see the
Connect it
pieces
all.
fitting together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly when I read this. That's what I thought of. Like making this bold statement that nobody has anything you have when somebody actually does have it.
Yeah.
In Benjamin's case, he didn't know. In Rachel's case, she knew and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And you're making this big, all right, kill him. Find it. I don't even want him here.
Yeah. I wonder how, because this is not, it's not Leah. It's Rachel,
Yeah.
the one he loves, that
Yeah.
he worked 14 years for. I wish a little bit that we could replay this. Like, the scene selection. Like, I want to see what it would have been if they found it with her and what would have happened. I think that would have been interesting to see.
He would have backtracked so fast.
I'm sure he would have, but would the daddy actually kill his daughter? Or would they both be like, all right, well.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Hey, I
Or
don't
or
know.
now you got to work for me another.
Right.
Now, forever,
That's
actually.
yeah. That's what would have happened probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not going to do this to Rachel, but you have to work for me
Forever.
14 years
I
or
think
forever.
forever. I don't think he would have let him live that down. Like,
And what would
she owes me her life. Until she dies, you gotta work for me.
right? Yeah, because you put her life on the line.
Yeah.
And what would Jacob have done?
Did work.
He would have worked.
He would have worked.
He would have worked. Oh man. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um he doesn't find him.
Yeah. Rachel's a little slick too.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm not about to die over this. Because she already says she feels like a foreigner to her dad. So she may in her mind feel like any scenario that any outcome would be bad for her.
Yeah.
Like you either die, you either have to go back. Like there's no good outcome for her in this.
No.
If she, I might have hit it under Bill Haas stuff. Like I don't know.
You just sold her out.
Because at least it's not somebody. It's not somebody. It's not my kids. It's not my sister. I don't even think she could have put it with Leah because he would have.
Right, Bill. How I got your kids on me. You good? You go? They gonna be all right. You stay strong.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, she thought quick.
She did. Uh, again, it's one of those things like this is wrong to do, but
Yeah.
it's still it seems to be working out.
Yeah.
It seems to be working out.
All right. Genesis chapter 31, verses 36 to 42. Then Jacob became angry and berated Laban. Jacob said to Laban, "What is my offense? What is my sin that you have hotly pursued me? For you have felt through all my goods. What have you found of all your household goods? Set it here before my kinsmen and your kinsmen, that they may decide between us two. These 20 years I have been with you. You what is it? Ewes and your female goats have not miscarried, and I have not eaten the rams of your flock. What was torn by wild beasts, I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it myself.
Mm.
For my from my hand you required it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. There I was, by day the heat consumed me, and the cold by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flocks, and you have changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had not been on my side, surely now you would have sent me away empty handed. God saw your affliction and the labor of my hands and rebuked you last night.
Mm.
Telling us about his service and the time he worked for his daughters, the time he worked for the flock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You feel like he flipped it on Laban?
The
Like,
the funny thing is they did take the thing though.
yeah,
So but he
he's got plausible deniability. He
yeah,
doesn't
he
know.
doesn't know. Yeah.
It's like, how dare you come here? And why are you even pursuing me?
Yeah. Like what have I done to you? What did I do?
It's like he's doubling down so hard.
Yeah.
Put what you found in front of all of these witnesses so that people may judge between me and you.
Yeah.
What you got, Laban? What you got? Put it down.
Yeah.
That's what
He's
it
like,
feels like.
what's my offense? Like, what did I do to you? And that reminded me of the when Laban tricked him initially with the
Uh,
daughters. He's like, bro, like what did I do to you?
right.
I worked my time and I was supposed to get this girl, and now you gave me this girl, and now he's like, listen, I have worked 20 years.
Years.
Like, what did I do to you?
Right. Right.
And yeah, it is a little crazy.
And we get insight into what the 6 years of service was like. Well, I actually know what the 20 years of service was like,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like I worked the flock. If anything, if any of your flock miscarried, I didn't bring that to you like, you know, you would like you would reimburse me for it, or that you wouldn't take this into account when it came to my wages.
Mm-hmm.
When something happened to any of your animals, I didn't come to you like, well, the wolf came or whatever animal came and took them away, whether it was daytime or night when I was sleeping, and I'm not supposed to be responsible for them then. But
Yeah.
I didn't bring that to you,
Yeah.
right? Even though you demanded what you demanded from me every step of the way, I wasn't one to come back to you like you should make concessions for me because of X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
I was out there in the heat.
Yeah, in the cold,
Right.
and no sleep, and
Right.
this man worked like it wasn't light work either.
Right.
Because I think when we were talking about him working for Rachel, we were like, "Oh, it felt like nothing," but he's describing the work, and he's like, "Yeah, for her, it felt like
So
nothing, but this is not light work. This is hard work. Like I didn't sleep. I got all these kids. I got 2 wives. Like it's a lot."
yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I thought about how hard the work he was doing was
Hmm.
until reading this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it just felt like time is just going. You're having all these kids. You have time
Mhm.
to have all these kids. Like
Right.
you have time. You free.
Right. You ain't
but
got to worry about all this.
this man said I ain't been sleeping.
Right. I'm out there in the heat and the cold.
Yeah.
So and I think this just goes to show, and we said this earlier, that most of these folks that we see that are counted righteous by God, go back to Noah, even they aren't lazy folks.
Yeah.
They I had to go cut the grass today. I ain't want to do
It looks good.
it. I know. I'm talking about the back, the front. But it's like, man, I need to rethink if I'm being lazy or not.
Mm.
I don't know if I'm gonna do this type of work, but you it's almost like you can't be a member of a a child of God and be lazy is what this gives me. Because
Mm,
nobody else has been that way up until now. Even Abraham, and we talked about one of the things that you talked about made you think of him differently was like, I'm gonna take my 314 men, I think it was, and we gonna go get Lot back.
yeah,
That's not lazy.
yeah,
I'd have been like, man, Lot, that stinks, bruh. I don't know what's gonna happen to you, but
yeah,
so
yeah,
these folks, they are not lazy, not at all.
yeah. And God is favoring them, but it's not because they aren't doing anything. Like
Right.
even going, I guess, forward or back to
Yeah.
Joseph,
Yeah.
it's God was favoring him. Everything he was doing was blessed, but he was doing a
He
lot.
was doing
Like
right.
he's serving, he's taking care of first he's taking care of the Potiphar's house,
Yep.
and then he's taking care of the jail. And then even when he's doing the whole thing with giving the food and
Yep.
doing all that's all a lot of work.
That's a lot
It's not just it's not the kind of work I do. I be at work like I can do this.
right.
It's not that stressful.
Right. Right. Um. Yeah. It just just an interesting point of these folks. Whew, I got to re-examine. All right.
Yeah.
So.
I think the last thing, just before we move on, is
Mhm.
that he said if it wasn't for God, like you would have just let me go empty handed.
Yeah.
But God saw the affliction. God saw his hard work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one other thing, just to, okay, no, I don't want to say that yet. It's in the next part.
Okay.
All right, Genesis chapter 31, verses 43 to 55. Then Laban answered and said to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, the children are my children, the flocks are my flocks, and all that you see is mine. But what can I do this day for these my daughters or for their children whom they have borne? Come now, let us make a covenant, you and I, and let it be a witness between you and me. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. And Jacob said to his kinsmen, gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap, and they ate there by the heap. Laban called it Jigar Sahadutha, but Jacob called it Gilead. Laban said, This heap is a witness. This heap is a witness between you and me today. Therefore he named it Gilead, and Mizpah. For he said, The Lord watch between you and me when we are out of one another's sight. If you oppress my daughters, or if you take wives beside my daughters, although no one is with us, see, God is witness between you and me. Then Laban said to Jacob, See this heap and the pillar which I have set between you and me. This heap is a witness, and the pillar is a witness, that I will not pass over this heap to you, and you will not pass over this heap and this pillar to me to do harm. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us. So Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. And Jacob offered a sacrifice in the hill country and called his kinsmen to eat bread. They ate bread and spent the night in the hill country. Early in the morning, Laban arose and kissed his grandchildren and his daughters and blessed them. Then Laban departed and returned home.
Yeah, he starts off with everything's mine, which I he's not wrong, but also
Right. He's
also
not
it's
right.
like yeah, also you're not right.
He's not right.
But they are his daughters. And what we've seen so far is that the grandkids they claim as their own too, especially that first grandson. We've
Yeah.
been seeing like, no, these are my kids.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's all from him. Like if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have none of them. Like that's how it feels.
I feel like he was getting ready to step over the line when the Lord said, "Watch yourself and don't say anything good or bad." I feel like he was right there because that really feels like threatening language to me. Like all of this is mine, and I can take it right now if I wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
The flock. Everything.
Everything.
Everything technically was his, but you gave it to Jacob.
And I also wonder if that is the way that he just viewed Jacob as you. I don't want to say a slave, but that you don't have any right to any of this stuff unless I give it to you.
Yeah. Which is a little backwards. Well, maybe not. I think because Jacob lived with him, that kind of skews the normal dynamic. Because the daughters should have gotten married and left, right? And gone to be with their husband.
Yep.
But because you stayed here for all of this time
Very good point.
with them and had children in my house, like
Yeah.
in my these are my flock. Like everything started off as mine and you've been here. So if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have any of it.
Yep.
Like you could have just taken the daughters and left, but that's not what happened. So technically, yeah, everything is his, but Laban is not being fair either.
No, he's not. He's not. And that so after he has his little outbursts, he wants to do a covenant.
Yeah.
Man.
I was just like, okay, like
Right.
God already told you can't do anything to me. Do I really need a covenant with you? And it's the same with Isaac and was it Isaac? Isaac and the Abimelech.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need this. I don't understand why y'all keep agreeing. Like I would be like, nah, bruh. Because if I change my mind, I want to come back.
Right.
Like, why am I the one making a covenant? You want to settle now because God spoke to you. I don't like that.
Yeah, I get that. I get because you're right. Neither one of them have to make the covenant, but they do.
Laban is trying to cover himself. Like, you won't come back and cross this line, and I won't cross it. God already told you can't cross the line.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be making covenants with nobody.
Yeah. And I'm with you 100% because what he's really trying to do in all this is say, you stay on your side of this heap of rocks, and I'll stay on my side.
Yeah.
We don't cross them to do each other harm.
Yeah.
We don't cross them.
Yeah.
The other thing that is interesting in here is that it feels like it feels like it is a split that now you really truly officially have two peoples.
Mm. Okay. The people of Nahor,
Right.
and then the people of
Yep. Of
Isaac
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yep.
Yeah.
Because so it almost makes it seem like, and I'm probably, I don't know if this is right or not, but there seemed to be this crossover between them because, go back to my family and get a wife, right? I guess that could still happen, but this really just seems like it's a split
Mm.
and two families are going their separate ways.
Yeah.
Um, did you find the naming of the heap of stones interesting?
The definitions were the same for both, so I wasn't sure. I mean, I guess maybe different languages or
Different,
different. Yeah.
exactly. So again, two different nations. Aramaean for the Jigar Sahadutha.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right. Um, yeah, Aramaic.
Yeah.
That there are three languages, right? So there's Hebrew, there's Aramaic, and then there's Koine Greek. So the Aramaic is the Jigar Sahadutha that Laban says, and then Galid is what it would be in Hebrew. So again,
Okay.
you see that split.
Yeah.
Um, did you notice the gods that were called out?
Yeah. God of Abraham, and then the
Mhm.
God of Nahor separate.
Yep. So it's
And
split.
CSB says the God of Abraham and the gods of Nahor.
Yep.
So again, we go back to that whole discussion of the different gods.
Yeah.
And because he's calling out, this is, I think this is Nahor speaking, right? Or not,
This is
sorry, this
Laban.
is Laban speaking. So he's calling out the God of Abraham.
Yes.
Does he believe in the God
I don't
of
think
Abraham?
so. I think what he wants to do is say,
Your God and
right,
my God.
Isaac, you believe. So if you make this covenant with your God, it's not just me. You're making this covenant with your God, who should have control over you and be able to do something about if you break this covenant.
Mm.
That's why I think he's doing that.
And the gods of their fathers will judge between us.
Right.
I don't know. It's so then it goes back to that whole thing with Abimelech and saying God, right?
Yeah, it does.
Because now it doesn't feel like Laban believes in God, but he acknowledges God because
Yes.
God has spoken to him, and
Yes.
he's obeying God
Yes.
exactly like we said about.
Yes.
Okay, you need to bring this up with your pastor.
But this is why I feel the way I do about some other folks.
Yeah.
Because of this. He can acknowledge him. He can say that, yeah, okay, fine. You have your God. And then actually, I'm gonna make this covenant with your God because I know that you
But I believe in your
adhere.
God too because your God spoke to me.
And he told me not to touch you.
Yeah, and I obeyed
Bring
your
you no
God.
harm, and I didn't do it. But I'm still going to talk about the gods of Nahor
Yeah.
when I set up this covenant.
Yeah.
And then one thing that's interesting is the ESV says 53, the God of Abraham and the God of Nahor. So right there, I think we realize we're talking about two different gods.
Mhm.
Then it says the God of their father. That word God there is still plural.
Mhm.
The ESV translated it as God, but some of your other translation will translate it as gods,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Saying that the NET does this, saying that there are these two gods, and these gods are of their father, and they are the ones who are judging between.
Okay.
So, yeah, so again, two nations, two splits, serving different gods.
Yeah, but then we go to Jacob swore by the fear
Uh-huh.
of his father Isaac, not by any of the gods. Why are we saying that now?
So that was actually mentioned earlier too, and I thought that was interesting. In verse 42, if the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac,
Yeah.
right? So I think what that is really getting at is that he's still talking about the God of Abraham and how we would normally say it today, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. He's still saying that same thing. He's just saying, instead of saying the God of Isaac, the fear of Isaac, meaning the God that Isaac fears.
Okay.
And then he does the same thing in 53. The fear of his father Isaac, the fear of Isaac, the God that he fears.
Mm.
Because he swore by him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. Mm.
Who is God, who is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
So it should say, and Jacob swore by the God or by the fear of the God of his father Isaac. Is that what we're saying?
That's one way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah. Or wait, or by the God that Isaac, his father, fears.
Okay. And Jacob swore
Right.
by the God of
The God that his
that
father
his father
Isaac
Isaac feared.
fears.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. So again, still talking about these two separate nations.
Yeah.
It it's really it's kind of sad, but it isn't. It's like a breakup of like a toxic couple, you're like, yeah, y'all needed to break up.
Yeah.
But when it's over, it's like, it's kind of sad
We
because
spent 20 years together.
I think y'all could really get along, but you just ain't right for each other.
Yeah. Yeah. But they made it amicable.
Yes, towards the end, they made
Yeah.
it amicable, and Laban got the chance to kiss his grandchildren and his daughters, and he blessed them. And then he went on his way.
Yeah.
The blessing made me think of the blessing that they gave Rebecca before she went with Abraham's servant.
Yeah. Makes sense. Do I want your blessing because you don't serve God?
I don't know. I mean, do I get what you're saying? I think the bigger question is, does it hold any weight?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I think I'm asking, do I want your blessing? Because there was, when I was younger,
I like it
when
when
I
you
was
do that.
younger, there were people who would be like, there was I had a particular friend that was, I think they were Hindu. And the
Mm,
mom would like try to bless me, and I
okay.
don't want it. Or like they would sacrifice things, and then like everybody that's in the house has to eat it, and I'd be like I can't eat that.
Oh, really?
Yes, I would have to like intentionally not be there. And my dad used to be like you believe in God, you shouldn't fear those things. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't play with that. Like
Yeah. Nah,
I
nah. I
don't
get
play
it.
with that.
I get it.
So I didn't like I don't know how I would feel today if someone did that. I'd probably be the same. Like back then I was just like very wary of like
That
you
is
doing
so
this, you
impressive.
doing all the things, and then you're like, here, eat this banana. I don't like bananas.
That's what I was
I don't
wondering.
eat bananas.
Like, what would you do? Like, yeah, I'm not really hungry.
I usually just would be like, no, thank you. Or they were, I mean, they would be offended, but they didn't say I couldn't come back.
You go ahead.
But yeah, I did used to ask like I would ask my parents like, they did this, and they were like, really? Like, did you eat it? I'm like, no, and they were like, okay. Like, but my parents never made it feel like I couldn't have eaten it because
Right.
they would just be like, you serve God, just pray
Right.
over it and eat it
Right.
if that's the case. And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, but they already prayed over it. Like, it wasn't feeling right to me, and
Yeah.
I didn't know how to handle it.
And that's so interesting because as we talked about, right? They're splitting up, and there's this gods of Nahor and the God of Abraham. There are no gods of Nahor when you really get down to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the point my parents were trying to
Right.
make. Like, it's not a thing. So just pray and
Right.
eat it.
But I get it if you don't want to, because you got to do what your conscience allows,
Yeah.
and your conscience is like, nah, I don't want none of that.
Yeah.
But at the same token, they're right too, because they just saying words to nobody.
Yeah.
And that's why I was thinking that when it even gets to the blessing, the whole point in the word blessing is talking about to endue with some sort of power from God. So if you say a blessing over somebody and it's not aligned with God, right? Yahweh, what kind of power are they going to get?
Yeah.
What are they going to be endued with? Nothing.
Yeah.
So, all right.
That was good. It was only two of us, and somehow we spent almost 2 hours here.
Because we had a lot of, this was good. I enjoyed this episode immensely. Not that I haven't enjoyed the other ones, but I think we had some really good discussions.
Yeah.
There's some really good discussions. And we are doing what I've been wanting to do for a while, is making the connections with other parts in scripture,
Mhm.
right? Oh, look at this. But we talked about this in Joseph's story, or we talked about this when Abraham went to Egypt. It just makes the picture so complete for me. And I really, really appreciate that,
Yeah.
getting the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
So Uh, I think we are going to do our invitation right now, and we've said all this stuff in the podcast already, right?
Yeah.
We've already talked about what it means to believe in Jesus, right? What it means to be a child of God, what it means to even to the point we were talking about, you know, trying to say that God is on par with all these other gods that people purport to be out there. When you start to get into the Decalogue, the Ten Commandments, and God says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." Right? You even see that in some of the stuff we were talking about today, and all that is to really say that there is one God, and I'm gonna do like some Trinity stuff, right? Who is um who exists in three persons, who necessarily exists in three persons. So we're not saying that there is um one who and three who's. We're saying that there's one God and there are three persons that make up and have all of the same attributes across God. Each of them is God in and of themselves, and the three of them together make up the Godhead. And that's the way that God is, and we see that all throughout Scripture. Um, and so when we start to talk about that, the idea of the Son, right? The second person of the Trinity coming down to put on flesh, to die on the cross, to pay a debt that we couldn't pay, to live a life that we couldn't live, um, becomes all the more real to me and astonishing to me because it wasn't something that uh, God had to do. It wasn't something that they are forced to do. It's something that they wanted to do out of the love that they wanted to share with their creation from the beginning. And then once that was sullied, once that was broken up in the fall, uh, this way, as we talked about in Genesis 3:15, is set up such that we can be reconciled and brought back. Um, but you have to believe the way that the Lord says you do. I can't go through any other means. I can't go through any other doors. I can't go through any other gods. I have to go through Jesus. And Jesus is, as he says, the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes unto the Father but by me. What do you have to believe about Jesus? You have to believe that he's the one who died on the cross for your sins. You have to believe that he is the one who was buried, and you have to believe that he is the one who was raised from the dead. And if you believe those things, then you are a child of God. You have eternal life. Your sins are forgiven. You have a hope that supersedes anything that's going on in your life right now. This doesn't say that your life is going to be a bed of roses and that everywhere you walk, you'll be tiptoeing through the tulips and life will always be great and grand. But what it does say is that even during the most difficult times that you will face here in this earth, that you have a hope that goes beyond what happens just here in this earth. And our hope is in none other than Jesus. So, our prayer, our urging, our desire, our want is for you to believe that Jesus is who he says he is, that you will believe that he is the one who died, who was buried, and was raised. And in him alone, your sins are forgiven. All right. So, if you have any questions, reach out, DM us. You know, I don't know how else to reach out to us, but
We
reach out.
technically have an email.
We do. I guess we got to figure out where to put that.
Mm, somewhere.
We'll include it somewhere. Maybe in the show notes, as
Yeah.
we should put it in there. But reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. We talked about a lot. So any comments, questions, or whatever you want to leave about what we talked about, just leave those. We've been trying to answering a bunch of comments. Shout out to our chief commenter. Um, Appreciate you. But yeah, aside from that, like and hit the notification bell and subscribe, uh,
Share,
share.
do all the things.
With it, what's the thing that people always say? It does a lot for the podcast and make sure that we reach audiences. If you like this and you want others to see it, then like, subscribe, and share. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, we would appreciate it, and we are so thankful again for you watching. So, with that said, you got anything else?
Nope.
All right, people, we out of here. Deuces.
Bye.